So we're going to talk about Flipgrid. And first of all, why Flipgrid? So Flipgrid can an assignment easily posted into Google Classroom. It gets kids talking. And we know, like, kids can do worksheets or other kinds of work, but as soon as we ask them to explain something, tell us about something, put it in their own words, then we know we're really bumping up that. It's got the depth, it's got some complexity to it. And so, and I was, talking to Jeff yesterday about it's something different too. So we're in how many weeks, and we've got so many, there's Claudia, so many weeks to go. So, hey, maybe this will be a change up of some kind that the kids would kind of go, oh, okay, well, it's a little bit different, not the same thing we do every week. So it's got that. So it's, a lot of people say, oh, it's asynchronous, which just means they can do it whenever they want to, which is, of course, what distance learning is. They're doing it whenever they want to. And so this assignment can be done when they can. So Flipgrid is a website. There's also an app for Flipgrid for the iPhone or your iPad. It's mostly like the student version for them to easily get into a Flipgrid after you give them the code and stuff like that. So you can create your Flipgrid from an iPad. It's not ideal, so I'd say when you're setting things up, maybe use a laptop or Chromebook or something. I think it's a lot easier. So, okay, so let's get started. I'm going to go to just flipgrid.com. If you want to follow along, you can, or you can do it later. So you start out, if you've never used Flipgrid, you can sign up as an educator, and basically the sign up is sign up with Google. So it just takes all your Google information and then gives you a Flipgrid account. So I'm going to go to educator login with Google. So I log in with Google, I verify my name, and it's been kind of doing that today, which was weird. But anyway, okay, so it's really easy to get into. First of all, we land on this main page, which is our grid. So when you think of a grid, think of it as like it's equal to a classroom. So most teachers, a lot of times, teachers will create a grid for each class for good, really great reasons, because you have 25 or 30 kids in a class, and that's how many videos will show up on a grid that students can see, if that's what you want, or definitely what you can see. So a grid is like a classroom. And it'd be easier to manage if you have one for each classroom, for sure. So you start by creating a grid. So we're just going to click Add New Grid. Here's some grids that I've created. And so Add New Grid. Most important things, you are going to have to name it. So I'm just going to say this is third period. And you're going to choose the school email. Students can easily log in with Gmail. So if they're following those best practices that we're asking them, which is sign into the portal, get to everything from the portal, they can easily do the Flipgrid assignment that you put in Google Classroom, because they're already have their Gmail ready to go. So we're going to say it's going to be a school email. It creates a flip code for you that you can kind of change a little bit if you want. So I could call this third period if it's available. Maybe not. Maybe I'd have to say 2020. Okay. So you could change it. It's not necessary, but maybe you want to change it to something that you can remember. Okay. So I'm going to click Next. This is a really important step that if you forget this step, your students cannot create on the Flipgrid. So it defaults to, yes, our domain, which is the teacher domain. So you have to add the student domain in order for the students to be able to get to the Flipgrid like you want them to do. So all you have to do is type in the @students.nisd.net, and then it just says, please enter that domain. And then we know now our students can actually get on the grid or the topic also. I'm going to click next. And everything's set up. So you don't have to worry about copying this or remembering this. Don't worry. All of this stuff you can get back to very easily. So don't worry about any of this. So we're going to go to the grid. So remember, the grid is the classroom. And so we're going to create a topic, which is the assignment or the question, the activity, whatever you want to call it. So you add topics, which are the assignments, and you can either, so let's go ahead and we're going to add a new topic. It starts you every time with this kind of little say hello in Flipgrid, which sometimes for me, just because it's got their own setup, I like to just start by deleting it. So I can take an action of just deleting that topic for now and just starting fresh. I know I'm deleting it. It's okay. It's something they created and I don't want it. So I'm going to add a new topic. So you have to put a title for your topic, and it can be a variety of things, kind of the general, like book review. Okay. And then the prompt would be your question to them or your assignment to them. Tell me about a book you have read recently and why you think your classmates should read it, something like that. So this isn't just for ELA. So let's say you have a math class. So maybe your topic right now, you're doing an area of triangles, whatever topic you're on, that could be your title. You could ask kids to, hey, reflect on the assignment we had and talk to me about the different ways, the formulas to find area. And then they can talk it out. Like, why is it different if it's for different geometric shapes? So they can talk about that. You could ask them something about force and motion, like, tell me about the force and motion lab, reflect on that. So you get them talking about it, which once again is a higher level of thinking to actually talk and record. So the next thing to think about is this recording time. So you can go up to 10 minutes or have students go up to 10 minutes, which some kids will do that if you give them 10 minutes. I kind of like the 2 minutes. That's nice enough time and not too much time to go off on another subject that maybe we don't need to listen to in order to give a grade or a completion grade. So 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you think your students need. This is really important right here. It's called video moderation. And you're going to want to turn this on in most cases because this gives you the opportunity to watch the video before anyone else sees it. The students will get an email and they'll be able to see their video, but there won't be anyone else that gets to see it until you approve it, until you make it active. So it makes this a hidden video, and then you decide if you want to make it active. So it's really important, I think, to start that way. So here you could start your focus. Like if, let's see, maybe you're teaching L's and you think it would be better for you to record your assignment or your prompt. So you could record a video of yourself. You could upload a video. These are just things you can add to make that questioning, pictures, things like that, to that prompt or question. So you can do that. When you click on more options, there's a couple of things I want you to look at and think about. Topic tip, you can add to these, but the two things I want you to think about and know about are this, that students can like each other's videos. So let's say you want to start out by moderating them, and if they're appropriate, you're going to approve them, and now they're for everyone to see. So you'll need to decide a couple of these things, like do you want students to be able to like each other's videos? Sometimes that's not too bad, but sometimes it may not be good because someone might get more likes than someone else, and we don't want to cause any of that kind of angst. Student to student replies. Maybe they're not quite ready to make a video. That's basically what it is someone's making a video to respond to another student's video. Maybe they're not quite ready for that. So those are two things I want you to think about as you create these topics, because hopefully, I'm really hoping that you're going to open it up and let kids see each other, because that's part of it too. And we'll talk a little bit about that. I like this sticky notes thing. It's kind of cool. Kids can be cool with it. If they want to edit their video, you can turn that on. Sometimes it's attachments. I'm not sure. I always like that for kids to add attachments, but you can decide that. You can give feedback to students. So this is kind of like just you're choosing what kind of feedback you want to give kids. And then once you've decided those things, then create the topic. And here you go again. This topic is ready. If you're ready to give it as an assignment, you can just put it straight into Google Classroom. So you can click share in Google Classroom. And maybe, Google Classroom's been slow, but let's see. Okay, I'm going to choose a class. I'm going to go to my first period class. I want it to be an assignment. Remember, you can make an announcement, but we're keeping announcements for just things we want to tell kids. No assignments. We want them to go to that classroom tab to get their assignments. Here's the ask a question. So create an assignment. And I'm going to click go. It's going to take me over to Google Classroom. So I'm in Google Classroom as usual, and it's already given the link for students to get to. So now you would put the title. It's a book review, and you can give whatever kind of directions you want. Elaborate on it. Click on the Flipgrid link below to record your book review. You'll want to do the same thing when you're assigning a Google Classroom. Decide which classes you want to assign it to, the point value, a due date, and definitely put a topic. So if this is part of an assignment for next week, then you would add those. If it's assignment for this week, we're kind of going with this whole week of, putting our assignments by the week. And then you can just click assign. Okay, and then if you want to see what it looks like, you can go back to your classroom and see that it is an assignment under May 4th through 8th. You'll see book review, and then students can click on it to get to it. So it's a quick, easy way to get an assignment into Google Classroom. So I like that for that. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you? Let's look at it. You can always look at things from the student perspective, which is great, by just clicking on the links here. Like this is the topic, and you have your grids. You could also get a student view of the grid. Most of the time we share the topic. The grid, I'll tell you right now, I sent you guys a Fliphunt, which in that case, I'll just talk real quick about what a Fliphunt was. And it was basically a grid with lots of questions. And so it's kind of like a little scavenger hunt for kids to go on, because these are all the things that they were assigned to do. If you want to create a Fliphunt, then you are going to share the link to the actual grid so that they can see all of the topics. But typically, we just share that topic. So we come into our third period class and we look and say, oh, here's the topic, the book review, and we say, oh, that's what I want to share. That's usually what we're sharing, is the actual topic rather than the whole grid. So, okay, and you can see a student view by clicking here. You'll see that the students will see this. They'll have to log in with Google. They'll have to verify their name, and then they'll see your assignment. So some things right here, you have immersive reader, so you can click on that. I'm not sure if you'll actually be able to hear it, but it will read And so that will read the questions, or you could have had a video. So the students easily click the plus button to add their response. And depending on, they could do it from an iPad, Chromebook, definitely great, has a microphone. It tells them you have 2 minutes to record and it's being moderated. So you can let them know. So some of the tools here are kind of cool. These filters are kind of nice, or what have you. Students don't always like to show their faces. So, it might be a slower process to actually get them to show their faces. So they may want to start out by pixelating or putting something in front of their face, what have you. So, if that's what you want to allow them to do, you can. There's also text, so they could type on top of the screen, anything. So they could put the title of the book if you want them. They could, however they decide to create their video. Now, they can start recording right away and then be doing all these things, typing and drawing. So I'm going to start the recording. 3, 2, 1. It's recording, and that I can start adding stickers while it's recording and, add them. That's what kids like to do. To cover up their face is adding stickers. So you could also draw, while the recording is going on. I'm not sure what that was supposed to be. You can also change it to a whiteboard. That's kind of another thing that if kids don't want to show their face, but you're asking them to explain something and maybe they're going to explain it with words and drawings, you can click on this board and then fill it with white. So it's a whiteboard. And then everything they've already written or the titles will show up on this board. So that's kind of cool. They can insert other kind of photo stickers. So it's continuing to record all of their, as they're working on it. Here's a little sticky note that I kind of like. I'm a sticky note kind of person. This is cool. I like this assignment. They can also click on this book here, which shows the topic again if they forgot maybe what the directions were. So that's kind of cool to have there. And then, so they have finished their video. They've answered your question. When they click on next, it shows them their video. I'm going to click next. A lot of times the kids will delete and, well, they're doing it at home. So as long as they turn it in. At this point, it asks you to take a selfie, which shows up on the grid. So kids sometimes will take a selfie and then add to the selfie so you can smile. And then you could add stickers to that, hats and glasses and things like that. Whatever directions you have for kids, let them know what they can do with these selfies. And might be kind of fun. So once they're ready to turn it in, basically, they're going to click next. It says don't shut anything down. It's going to display their name. They could also title it if they wanted to, maybe the title of the book, whatever. Then the final step is to actually submit the video. And so it's like, okay, here it is. You get the whole, they do have a direct link to just their video if they want to share it with someone else. In the settings that we looked at, you can actually turn that off if that kind of makes you feel uneasy, that they have a direct link, so you can turn that off and complete the assignment. And so with moderate on, the video doesn't show up on the grid until the teacher goes back to look at it. So we're going to go look at the teacher view of that. And so let me see. So I have one video here I can see, and I come over here. So I'm going to watch. I can watch this video to be sure that it's appropriate. Once I've watched it, I can, I'm watching it. I can give a comment. I can put a comment here to give feedback. That was part of the settings that you have, so you can give them a feedback. After you give the feedback, you can either, email them that, or you can just tell students, hey, don't forget to go back in and, check my feedback or comment to you about your video. So that's a nice feature for feedback. Also, once you've said, yes, okay, they did a good job, it's okay, I'm going to now remove it from hidden and I'm going to make it active, and the other students can now see the video when we go to student view. So I'm going to go to student view here and hopefully let me back in. And there's the video now. So it's not going to show up on this grid until you go and approve it. And if you don't approve it, then you can delete it. So if it's not what you wanted students to do, because we always have those concerns that, you know, somebody's just going to act out in some way, you can always go back. So let me see, what else did I want to show you? Oh, okay. So this, I think, is kind of important. When you're creating grids, you can duplicate grids. So let's see, I made this one for third period, and now I want it for all of my classes. So I can come over here to actions and I can duplicate the grid, and it's going to say that only the topics from third period will be included, none of the videos. And we're like, okay, that's cool. This might take a little while. It did the last time, so hopefully it won't slow us down too much. But it creates the exact same thing, and now then you just go back in and name it something else. So you're not having to go and do that for each one of your classes. I'm going to kind of skip over that and get back to so those were the basics of Flipgrid for you to get started as an assignment. I did mention that I want that lots of people have asked me about what is a Fliphunt, so that's why I created one, and just to show you. So it's really simple. It's just a grid with several questions that you're asking the kids. Be sure and go and make a video. For instance, I've been talking to Spanish teachers. Maybe you want them to go into the kitchen and practice their vocabulary from, you know, something that's in the kitchen you would find in the kitchen. The same thing with math. Maybe you want them to go outside and see what math in nature. So and, you know, you can have several questions for them to answer. That's what a Fliphunt would be about. Go look around, go to the front yard, go to the backyard, go to your room, go to the kitchen. So that's what a Fliphunt would be about. Okay, I think I'm going to stop talking and see if you have any questions. Let's see, maybe there was one. So Jackie was asking, is the feedback for only the teacher? Yes, the teacher adds that comments. I think students can, you know, they have that feature where they could maybe, I'm going to stop presenting, talk back and forth, do a video response to somebody, but otherwise they don't talk to each other or comment to each other unless you give them that. So I'm going to let my dog in, and you unmute your mic if you have a question or put a question in the chat. I'll be right